Who can you trust when the ones who are blocking your life like these?
What you experience now in popular culture, art, entertainment, specifically, obviously hip-hop.
Well, the art then, first of all, we had some basic concepts. There was no such thing as art for art's sake. Art had to be purposeful. Art had to have some significance. You just couldn't sit down and put a bottle cap together with a toothpick and maybe a booger and say this is art. There's got to be something here that we can gain some knowledge from and that we can hopefully grow from, because if you gain knowledge, growing is supposed to be almost synonymous. So there was that cleared up a lot of stuff for me. I think all poetry must have passion. I don't think you can really be you can possibly be an anal poet, a passionless poet, but I don't think you'd be very good. And I think it would be almost sterile trying to read somebody who is coming from an anal place, somebody who doesn't allow their soul to just strip and be naked. Because when you are a poet, when you're really writing poetry especially, you must reveal yourself. You've got to be naked. You cannot. So now I'm upset with the system that I'm living in. I'm upset with the ways things have happened. So I'm going, and I've got this rage, I've got this furnace inside of me because I've seen all kinds of injustices, and I see them continue, I see them compounded. And so I'm taking up the word as my mantle, as my weapon to try to respond to something that has been affecting me and my family for a very long time. So the passion is there, it's built up. The rage is there, it's built up. And now I got to direct my pen in such a way that I can express these feelings that I have about us, about my people, about my existence on this planet at this particular time, my purpose, our desires, our wishes, our dreams. I've got to find a way to say these things in a way that can be truly felt and understood, and not only just appreciated, but looked at seriously, as if to say, this is me. That a reflection of what I'm saying has got to feed to somebody else, so that I'm not just here alone. So the poet is trying to connect, and if he's not trying to connect, then he's lonely and he's going to die like that. Then when you connect, you communicate something that other folks have been feeling, but they couldn't articulate it necessarily. So that takes the poet. It's like the person that can't write, but they got all these things to say, so they hire somebody to write down what they're feeling. The poet is that person in our community, has always been that person. The preacher has taken that spot to some extent because he used the Bible as a great foundation, and a lot of us put into that, but a lot of us have not put into the Bible or the way that's being run. So the poet has taken on a spot that the preacher can't even touch, and people come to the poet for wisdom and knowledge and understanding and all that kind of stuff if he has proven himself from his work that they can identify with that he is truly a poet. So my poetry in the beginning was trying to connect and trying to express and trying to reveal all the things that I was feeling inside of me, and say it in such a way that other folks could see it and connect and relate and say we've got something in common. You ain't by yourself. And as I've grown up, I've discovered that my skills have allowed me to even do this better, even though then I could never recapture, because then there was a raw flame. It was just like a burst of brand new energy that lent itself to some ingenious work that I could never recoup. I could never reduplicate that, because it was all created in the moment. And the moment is so precious, and those moments, once they're gone, that's why they got a thing called memories. All you can do is just remember, but you can't go back there. So, but I'm in now, and I'm very pleased with now, because now I'm holding on to the tools. Like I've mastered certain tools, I've mastered certain things, and or should I say this, rather than mastered, I am mastering certain tools. I'm mastering the art of poetry. And I don't like to use the word spoken word, because it's just one of those terms that white folks have thrown out there that confuse us again. I mean, everything we speak out of our mouths is spoken word. And black people, if you want to call it poetry, then we're always being poetic, because we always say things that are colorful and flavorful. But like as a poet, as somebody that weaves the language together to make you feel, see, touch, taste, and smell the situation, and take you to another brighter level of understanding of something you thought you knew, that's still the work of a poet. It's always been the work of a poet. I don't care what kind of poet and what culture, what land. And that's my job. And I've taken it seriously. And when I was a kid, I thought it was a cheap position. I thought it was a poor place to be. I mean, I thought poet was like close to poor person. I just didn't see any really relevance, no merit there. How can you call yourself a poet? What is that? Like a bum? That's like somebody that hangs out in the subways and with paper bags and crayons or something. I mean, what are you? That's nothing. And after a while, I started to recognize that was everything. and that to understand what you are, to understand your purpose and your place, and to carry that out and to live that with all sincerity automatically makes you an important person on the planet because you found your space, and that's all any of us are trying to do.
Who can you trust when the ones who